super helpful. Helped me get out there more, give me a lot more feedback. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. Anyways, so yeah, like, comment, subscribe. But all right, let's get into the video. Hey guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and this is Bush Rat Knives. In this video, I'm going to be doing the Fat Bastard, and I'm going to do something special with it. I usually do the Rat Bastard in 1/8 inch steel, but since this is the Fat Bastard, I think I'm going to do it in a little thicker, 4mm, or I have this, I'm going to do this one in the Raindrop Damascus. This is about 5mm thick. It'll fit nice chunky piece of steel for a nice chunky knife. So let's get started. All right, first things first, this piece of steel is not quite big enough, but it's really close. Like, there's a tiny little bit of overhang. Irregardless, I'm gonna do it. Tiny little bit on that side. No big deal. It'll work. Let's go ahead and mark this. On the steel mic. Ta-da! Let's go cut that out on the bandsaw. Let's go! Cut out. What I do is put my template back on, and then I will remark what needs to be removed on the sander. Something like that. This goes over to the sander, and then I remove all that junk. Ooh, that's dusty. Table square, crappy old belt. Final cut, final design. Yeah, it feels nice. Feels good in the hands. Still has the, finger marks. You put your thumb here, index there, up there, wherever. It's nice. I really like this. So the next step, we're gonna mark our center line. We're gonna mark a spot for a sharpening choil, and we're gonna see where we want our scales and our pins to be. So let's do that. A sharpening choil, right about there. My scales, I would like for them to come like that. Okay. Looks good. Let's punch it. All right, let's mark a center line. Now, I bought this tool. This thing kind of sucks, honestly. If you see something like this and you think about buying it, I wouldn't. Sorry, Zach, I got to revert to my old ways. All right, let's put our sharpening choil in here. All right. All right, I was going to do Corby fasteners on this, but I decided because the blade is Damascus and it's going to be etched, I don't want the silver shiny pins, so I'm going to go with black pins, I believe, as long as I have black pin material. So I do. I have black pin material and black liner material, so that's what we're going to do. Let's go. All right, let's drill these out. 1/4 inch. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa. That's a little wonky. Woo! That sucker was fast. Okay, that was better. Well, while we're over here, I'm going to drill out the other holes for pass through and weight reduction. All right, let's chamfer. All right, when you chamfer it, it kind of raises the edges of this. So let me flatten these out and then we'll put the bevels on and we'll be ready to heat treat. All right, that's done. Bevels are on and it's ready for heat treat. However, I have to go to work tonight, so I won't have time to do the tempering. I'll just wait till tomorrow, which sucks because I like to get the heat treat and at least one temper done. I don't have enough time. You know what? I could put it in my wife's oven and then she could shut it off before she goes to bed. That's a good idea. All right, we're gonna heat treat now. You guys are so smart. I'm glad I brought you guys along with me. Man, I would have never thought of that. I'm gonna have my wife do it. Thank you. It's ready for the heat treat. All right, let's go to the dungeon. All right, guys, we're over here in the dungeon area. I don't know why. I mean, it kind of looks like a dungeon. Anyway, I'm going to get this warmed up and we'll start some heat treating. All right, I got the forge warming up. I'm going to go ahead and throw just a piece of metal in there. I need to warm up my Parks 50 a little bit because it's winter time and I'm in my basement, so it's pretty chilly down here. I normally don't like to do that because it really greatly reduces the life of the oil. Ah, fuck it. Whatever. All right. All right, we're done with the heat treat. Now it's time for the tempering. Like I said, I have to go to work, so I'm going to get at least one done tonight. Have my wife shut off the oven. I'm not going to show you me putting it in this time. I'm sorry if that's what you guys came for, but we'll come back after the tempering's done. See you then. All right, while you guys were away, I went ahead and finished those 2 tempering cycles. And I didn't record this step, but I just sanded off the junk from the forge. I took it up to 400 so I can have a nice surface for the etching. I took one of my scribes and I scribed a line where I want my bevels to come. And I have a reference on there that won't wash away to where I want my lines to go. Also, I tested the hardness of it with my Japanese file set hardness tester. Jesus Christ, if you're going to make an appearance, at least like clean yourself up a little bit. Directly from Japan, special order from Amazon. I tested it and it's between a 60 and 65. I'm hoping it's on the lower end, closer to 60. Anyway, it's time to start sanding the bevels in, which for me is always the scary part. But it is early enough. If I screw this up, we can fix it. All right, this is a... Oh, you can't... Oh, I didn't even check to see if I aimed you. Oh, frick, bro. Perfect. All right, let me put on my trusty dusty face mask and some headphones and we'll get these bevels in. Remember, low speed, low temperature, and keep some water nearby because we do not want to heat this up. Hey Siri, play Tyler Childers. All right, well, I went up in grit on the bevels, took them up to 240, and now I'm just gonna go buff them on the buffer wheel just to make it a little more satiny. So let's do that before the battery dies. Could go up if you wanted more. Obviously I'm gonna etch this, so it's gonna to bring out the pattern. So I just need a nice flat surface. I'm just gonna hit it a couple times on a 400 just to make it that much more smooth. All right, good enough. Let me go scrub this off with some dish soap, get any oils, and I'll come back and then we'll put the logos on. We are now clean and ready for the logo. We need our stencils, etching machine, seems like enough, right? 1, 2, 9, 10. Take it off. 9, 11. All right, that's all we're doing. We are done. Let's see what we got. Looks pretty good. Let me spray it down and wipe it. I'm just using a little Windex. Generic, of course. And we should be ready. All right, let me wipe her down with some acetone. Get all the oils off, and we can throw her in some acid. Better safe than not safe. Like my grandmother always said, you're never going to amount to anything. Once again, she was right. If you just listened to everything your parents told you, in the most cases, you'd be way further in life than you are right now. Hindsight's 50-50. All right, let's put it in the acid. Come back in 10 to 15 minutes. All right, I've already done this 2 times. This is the final time I'm gonna do it. I've had it in the acid. Keep it in the acid for like 5 or 10 minutes. Take it out, neutralize it, and then scrub it with a Scotch-Brite pad, and then repeat. So I've done that 2 times. This is the 3rd time. I'm just gonna show you this, and it'll be the last one. And then we can do the coffee etch. All I do, take out the blade, dunk it in the water, take some cheap glass cleaner, spray the crap out of it. The ammonia should neutralize the acid. Scrub her down. You can barely see my logo in there. I tried doing it deeper. This is what it is. I wonder if I could try to put it in now. I wonder what that would do. All right, that's what we got before the coffee etch. All right, I got my super hot, super concentrated coffee. You can see the steam. See it? It's hot. So let's go ahead and try not to steam up the lens here. Oh, well, it's happening. I'll just put that in there. Let it sit for a while and we'll come back and check it out. All right, I left that in there about an hour and a half now. It's time to take it out, see what we got. Let me go rinse it off. All right, this is what it looks like right now. I'm gonna take it and rinse it off real good again and seal it with some tung oil. So I'm gonna let that sit up for about a day or so, and then I'll be back. Yeah, I'm just amazed how this thing's turning out. It looks beautiful. I need to make sure that I wrap this one in masking tape when I start working on the handle so I don't make a mistake like last time. Because look at this thing. Look at that. That is a beautiful blade. You couldn't see my logo anymore, so I went and I redid the logo. We're at the step where we can start working on the handle. For this particular knife, we're doing black liners, black pins, and teal. So, all right, let me get these liners marked and cut out. So, next step is stick them on there. Let me take these edges off on the sander real quick. This is an 80 grit. Okay. Let me stick them together. This is just a scrap piece of leather from making sheaths. It's too small to use for anything, so I was going to throw it away anyways. Might as well mix up some epoxy on it. Smudge it around so it gets all over everything. Let her sit. All right, what do I got to do? Oh, we're going to drill some holes, right? And, oh yeah, I got a new 1/4-inch bit. So that's cool. All right, I guess you guys don't have to watch me while we wait for that to cure. These are cured enough that I can stick them together for the next step of drilling out the holes and marking my outline. Let's do that. Okay, looks good. All right, so now we can line this up to drill our holes. Make sure that I have enough forward. It's okay to have too much sticking over, because when you put your shape where you want your scales to go, you can cut it off then. But you want to make sure when you drill these holes through the scale material that you have enough room to finish your scales where you want them. All right, let's go over there and drill these holes. While I was waiting for these scales to cure, I went ahead and I cut my pins to the length I need. I just measured with tape. Go ahead and drill your first hole. First hole doesn't matter so much. All right, now that that hole is drilled, go ahead and place one of your pins in there to hold it in place. After I do that, I go the furthest away from the pin that I just put in. Now that both of those are all the way through, go ahead and put a pin in the second hole that you drilled. Those two are lined up, and I will drill the third hole. So then all three of them are lined up. All right, now if you have a lanyard hole, this is the time to drill that out. Pro tip. Who's this? My wife. Hello? Yeah. No, I went. All right, bye. While these are pinned together, go ahead and trace out the outline of your knife. So I want my scales to come to about here. There. That's where I want my scales. They'll come like this. Now I'll just connect those marks. Something like that. Now I can go cut this out on the bandsaw. All right, that's done. I'm going to get everything lined up where I want it. I'm going to say I want my scales to come like that, right? All right, so that step, I just refined where I want my scales to come on the knife. My marks line up. Pins lined up. It's good. Go sand this down on the belt sander. All right, double check that everything's still where I want it. Looks pretty good. All right, now I'm going to put an angle on here. All right, so what I do is I make sure my angle at the top here matches the other side. Same with the angle at the bottom. You want those to match, you know, like peaks of a roof. That way, you know, everything's lined up all the way through. When you're sanding it like this, it's going to put little grooves in this direction. I'll hand sand those grooves out with progressively finer sandpaper until I'm happy. I use a sponge typically, like so. You can go up as high as you want in grit. This is 220. I'll hit it a little bit with the 400. Okay. Really get an idea what it's going to look like when it's finished if you wet it. It's done. Now I'm going to go pick up some cookies that my wife told me I have to pick up. Now that you got that sanded to how you like it, now it's time we can take these apart. I'm going to scuff them a little bit with like an 80 grit and then wipe them down with some more acetone. You're going to want to wipe your blade off too. Oh, make sure you have all your pins. I lost one. All right, looks like I'm cutting a new pin. 9 out of 10 times I lose a pin. All right, let me get my epoxy tray. I'm going to tape my blade up. Make sure when I put my pins on, they don't cover the tape. You don't want to get any tape under your scales. Now I can set that down without scratching it. We'll get some acetone. I like to use a brand new fresh rag for the final cleanup so it doesn't leave any residue. Clean off the blade, clean off your scales. I usually scuff the pins up too. Then clean it off. Okay, with everything freshly cleaned, get your clamps ready. You are going to need clamps. And if you're working with a quick setting epoxy, you're going to want to make sure they're opened wide enough so you don't have to mess around. Gloves are not necessary, but they are helpful. Less gunk you have to scrub off your hands at the end. I don't know why I talk during this stuff. None of this stuff makes it in. I wipe the surface down with acetone as well so that my clamps don't stick. Take your fresh rag and wipe off any of the squeeze out there. Okay, let her cure. All right, now that the epoxy's set up, I can go ahead and file these pins down flat. And once that's done, I'll drill out the lanyard hole, and then I'll bring the rest down to the spine and the belly. So let's get these pins filed. All right, I'm gonna go drill this out now. Like I said I was gonna do, I'm gonna tape up the blade. I run less of a risk of messing up the finish. And I'm gonna pay careful attention to how close the blade is to the belt. So let me taper. Okay, that should be safe. That should be good. Now that everything's flat and down to the metal the whole way around, I'm going to mark some reference lines. Go put an angle on the table here and bring these 90 degrees, down to less than 90 degrees. All right, can you see me? I'm going to stop right there. I'm not going to go any further and risk messing up the blade, but we're on to hand sanding. I'm going to use the Dremel real quick on these really tight spots, and we'll go on to hand sanding. All right, I got everything hand sanded up to where I want it. Now to finish it, I'm gonna sand down the spine to bare metal, and then I take a Q-tip, dip it in the acid, and just run it down the spine. Let it sit there for a couple seconds just to darken it up. Let me sand this part down real quick without screwing something up, and we'll finish the blade. Turn it on low speed and clean that off. All right, guys, I finished hand sanding it. I took it up to 400 grit. I wet sanded it, and then I coated the whole thing in a little bit of oil and wax, and it is done. It is done. So, without further ado, I present to you Fat Bastard. This looks a lot like the giveaway knife, but man, that thing is thick. The giveaway knife was a stone wash finished with these same scales, but with red liners. Let's take a closer look at it. All right, man, that's it. That's the knife. I just got to figure out whether I'm going to put, I think I'm going to do a leather sheath for this one. But that's it. Anyways, guys, that's the build. Went a lot smoother than I expected. It felt a lot smoother, I think, because I'm used to doing 5 knives in a build, and those videos take a lot longer. But just one knife at a time, that went so smooth. I think I'm going to continue doing that. If I'm doing a batch build, I don't think I'm going to record it anymore. That's such a pain in the ass. Keep a lookout for that knife. It'll be on the Etsy store here. Well, now. If it's not there, somebody bought it. In the next video, I'm going to do a 2-knife build. I said I wasn't going to do batch builds, but I'm doing 2 little bastards like this. This is the next build. I'm going to do, these are little bastards. It's about a 2.5-inch blade. You'll see in the video, but I'm going to do these kydex. I'm going to do a horizontal carry sheath for these. All right, guys, that's the video. I appreciate you stopping by. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch this very small channel. Watch me make some knives. I really appreciate it. And if you didn't already, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.